right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Josh Taylor. Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is where we take your opinions every single night of the week, and you know they're going to be hot and heavy tonight. Bob Pompeani here. Andrew Fillipponi's up at 93.7 The Fan. And the Penguins in Game 2. By the way, call us, again, that number, 412-575-2600. Game 2 is a lot like Game 1, and the Flyers pretty much did everything they had to do. They're a team that has a lot of confidence, Andrew. They came into this playoff confident because they had more wins than anyone since the Olympic break. Penguins had fluttered down the stretch because they didn't play a lot of regulars at certain times. Not that that's a main reason, but it certainly does contribute to it. But, you know, I look at this and I see a team that's hungrier, it seems to me. They're winning all the little things that, to me, add up to the big team. They haven't played well enough here, and most teams that especially lose 2 home games do not recover. Can they recover, and how do they recover?
Well, you know, what we've seen these last 2 games, they've got to completely erase and flush everything that they've done because these seem like unrecognizable Penguins. If they go back to being the team that they were throughout most of the season, the team that went to the Islanders and won a big game after trailing and ended up scoring a ton of goals in that game and making Sorokin look bad, and then the game they played against Detroit, which was a gotta-have-it game at home. They won both of those games. And really, maybe from there, they let the foot off the gas a little bit. They beat New Jersey, but New Jersey had basically thrown in the white towel on the season. I'm seeing a Penguins team, Bob, that looks too much like last year's team, where it's sloppy, there's odd man breaks the other way, power play that's just incompetent. If they get the puck in the zone, they can't get a puck on net. They're either getting blocked or it's completely wide of the net. They've given up more goals with the extra man than they've scored themselves. It didn't occur until late in this game, but the lines went back to what they were for most of the year. And finally, then the Penguins did something. So maybe maybe that's something they can build upon for Game 3, but it was just pathetic. I mean, this is the highest scoring Penguins team of the Sidney Crosby era, and you've scored 2 goals in 2 games at home. Against the Philadelphia team that came in, they had the worst power play in the NHL by the numbers.
Dead last.
Dead last. And you're 0 for 7 on the power play, and you've given up a goal when you've been up a man. Just horrible.
Yeah, and Sidney Crosby, shockingly, because he normally feasts on this team, has 0 points in this game. Now, he looked better once Raquel and Russ were put together with him, and I think that's the way they should have started this game. Also, Chinakhov seems to be more comfortable with Malkin. Maybe that's something that could carry, because I did see more scoring chances in the third period off of those lines. So they need that to change in a hurry. But I still can't help myself to think it's the little things. It is absolutely a team that wants it more, it seems like to me. They came in here knowing that they were going to be underdogs, maybe not massive underdogs, but certainly a young team. And they have just answered the bell and done everything systematically very good about what they've done. Stick work, using whatever it takes to block shots, stick, body, legs, it does not matter. They'll do it. And they have gotten under the skin of the Penguins at many times in this series. So the Penguins got to change this around rather quickly, and it won't be easy on Wednesday night.
Well, you know you're going into a madhouse. I say Eagles fans because that's really what they are. They pretend to be Flyers fans when they're good in the postseason. And they'll be loud, and they'll be vicious, and they'll be mean, and all those things. But the Flyers also have not won a home playoff game since 2016. And now the pressure will be on them because they're, at this point, expected to win the series. So we'll see how they respond to that. That'll be something entirely new for them. I mean, I need Sidney Crosby, who's one of the greatest players of all time, to look like it in Game 3. I need Erik Karlsson to go back to being the guy he was in March and not the player he's been thus far in April. I don't know what's going on with Chris Letang and Sam Girard. I don't know if that pair can be salvaged at this point. I hope it can. I need them to just be maybe competent and average and not what they've been so far in this series. But I really thought the Penguins had a lot of advantages going into this series. But I said it right from the beginning, Bob, I did not want to play Philly because if you lose this series, it stinks. It's going to be painful all offseason. And Dan Muse, I love Dan Muse. You're not the Jack Adams Award winner if you get swept out in the first round with home ice. I'm sorry. I know this doesn't count for that award, but that's not a Coach of the Year job if you get thoroughly out-coached in a playoff series. And I would say through 2 games, Rick Tockett's team is responding to his message far better than Dan Muse so far.
Totally agree. And Tockett knows how to get to his team, and his team plays the way he wants them to play, and he's done that through the first couple of games. All right, we're going to take a break here. Come back with your phone calls. It's 412-575-2600. I want to hear from you about the state of the Penguins. Can they come back from a 2-0 deficit? The pressure does shift to Philly. How will that affect the Flyers? We'll get into that and more as we continue right here on Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night from Joe Block, Pirate announcer, comparing Cruz and Bond's exact points of their careers. And this is the first 1,652 plate appearances. Very interesting when you see some of the numbers here. And it goes to show you that O'Neill Cruz may be blooming into something that I think people expected him to be from the beginning. Pirates are off today. They'll be in Texas tomorrow, which means it's Andrew McCutchen against the Pirates, who for the first time since he's decided to leave or didn't get the offer here, whatever the case may be, and Marcell Ozuna has taken his place. We'll get into that tomorrow night. Tonight it's going to be all hockey. Andrew, this is what baffled me about tonight's game. I thought the Penguins would come out first period, like you often see with teams that are somewhat desperate, come out and take the attack. They didn't have many shots on goal. They were out hit largely in that first period. For the game was 48-32. I thought those numbers would be reversed tonight. I thought they would come out with more of that, especially to start the game, and they just could not do it.
Well, in the first 20 minutes, you had 3 power plays. And for the entire period, you mustered, as it turned out, because they took one away, 2 shots. Okay, the way it should work at home, when you get that many chances, I know it wasn't 6 minutes because there were crossover penalties, but when you get essentially 5 minutes of power play time, and the most you can muster altogether is 2 shots, you're not going to win. I mean, they had an opportunity very early when they went on the extra man to score a goal and set the tone for the game. Instead, now it was a cheap call, but Erik Karlsson ends up taking a penalty, and it's 4-on-4. And it saps the momentum and life out of things right from the very beginning of this game. Like, the Penguins, to me, they're still not the aggressor when it comes to hitting, but I don't know if they need to be to win the series. I need them to capitalize on Flyers' mistakes. Where are their odd man breaks? Where are their 2-on-1s? Where are their breakaways? Where are their golden opportunities when it's 5-on-4? Those aren't happening and haven't happened through 2 games. And if it doesn't change, they're going to need the Flyers to melt or collapse to get back in the series. I mean, it's crazy that through 60 minutes of this series so far, that the Flyers have outplayed the Penguins to the degree in which they have. I mean, it's been a beatdown from the Flyers to the Penguins.
And that's what I'm talking about systematically. They're in position to make plays. As we showed you on some of those goals, I mean, Owen Tippett just made them look foolish on that to set up Garnett Hathaway. And that's when the Penguins had a man advantage. You can't allow that to happen.
How about his breakaway? If not for Stu Skinner, it would have been another goal, another amazing effort by him.
I always, when I think about these penalty shots called in games, you rarely see them, but I always thought a rule should be in place where you as a team can elect, do you want the penalty shot or do you want the 2 minutes? Because
I agree with that. I saw Paul Bissonnette tweet that. I agree.
If it's Zegras, I'd say, okay, take it. But if it's anyone else who doesn't have good shooting percentages, I would say I'd rather have the 2 minutes. I'm trying to nurse a 2-0 lead. So we'll see. 412-575-2600. We got a lot of calls, as you would imagine, Andrew. So let's get right to them, beginning with Dave in Export. He's our #1 Cochrane Go One Better caller of the night. Dave in Export, go ahead.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Hey, I got 2 quick questions for you. Do you think it was a mistake for Dan Muse to rest all his players for the last 3 games? And number 2, what does OPS stand for in baseball?
As far as resting, this is a tough one because if you play guys and they get hurt and you don't have them available, then you get criticized for that. I do think there is something for a team that's really playing well heading into the postseason versus one that's not or hasn't put themselves in a position to play well. I go back to the Indianapolis Colts when they had Peyton Manning and they clinched like 4 weeks left in the regular season. And you try to nurse your way through it, but in effect, you're taking your starch right away.
Well, I didn't like the way that it seemed to be about making Alex Ovechkin happy that last weekend. And that's why they played the game on the road but didn't play the game here. But at the end of the day, it's still the same result because you're making decisions that are based more on health and rest than about winning games, and that can throw a team off. I thought it absolutely did in Game 1. I don't think that they should get that excuse tonight for this game, though.
The other one, OPS, you're talking about getting on base and slugging and putting it together, and that calculation is used quite a bit, and so are other. More and more of these metric numbers keep coming up. Back to the lines we go. We have Tim in Greensburg. Hello, Tim.
Hey, gentlemen. You know, I'm just so sick and tired of the sports teams in the city. Can we just admit this has become the city of losers, all right? No Pittsburgh team will ever win a championship or even a playoff series or a game again. The city.
Well, that's I mean,
every year.
Doomsday scenario. Come on now, they're down 2-0. Teams have come back from this. That's why they play best of sevens, you know. I mean, you got to go one at a time. If they should win, I think, Andrew, your point is a good one. If the Penguins go in there and somehow pull out a win in Game 3, guess what the people of Philadelphia start to think? That fan base can turn on them quickly if they start badly then in Game 4. So you got to go with this.
Yeah.
One period at a time, come out and play your best period, try to take a lead and score first for a change.
Yeah, I think this thing is far from over. I mean, I hate the way the Penguins have looked through the first 2 games. If I'm going to try to find another glass half full aspect of what we've seen so far, though, their goaltending has not been an issue. I think Stuart Skinner's been their best player. And, you know, he's been outplayed, as it turns out, by Vladar because he pitched a shutout tonight. But Skinner's had higher quality chances to defend, and he has stopped a lot of opportunities by the Flyers that you would say those are great goal-scoring chances. Like, usually you get down 2-0 in a series, you lose both games at home. Unless you have an elite goalie, maybe you're thinking about going to your backup for a spark or for something. I wouldn't consider that at all for Game 3. Skinner has been the one guy that's been a rock for them in a consistent piece so far these playoffs.
There's no question about that. It would have been 7-2 the other day had it not been for him in that game. He had how many breakaways? And see, that's the other thing. This is where the Penguins have fallen apart on an area that I thought they had improved, and that is start playing systematic. All season long, we've seen when they win games, even when they lose games, they keep shot totals down. You don't see many odd man breaks. All of a sudden, they've gone back to these rotten habits here where they've just given up. It's like, I mean, the 2-on-none tonight. Carlson flipped it to nowhere. I mean, those are careless things you cannot do with a man advantage, and you don't see 2-on-nones while you're up one man.
You scored 2 goals in 2 games, so at the end of the day, it comes down to that. If you can't score more than that, you're not going to win a lot of games. They're not built to win low-scoring games. That's playing into the Flyers' hands. I would put Brazeau in for Game 3.
I would have done it tonight.
I agree. I know he was not as consistent as a goal scorer or goal-scoring threat in the second half of the season, but I want to see if I can get back to that. And you get back to the lines that you had for most of the season, where you found the lion's share of your success. So I would absolutely do that for this game in Philadelphia on Wednesday night.
I thought they should have done it in advance of this game tonight, but they didn't. Let's go to Brad in Brookline. Brad, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hey, Bob, I understand what you're saying. The series is not over, but after watching the first 2 games, what in the world makes you think the Penguins can get back in the series? I mean, it's
getting back to the way they played at the beginning of the through most of the regular season. Now that's a hard thing to ask for because it's hard to change way things are going right in mid-stride. But they played Philadelphia 4 times this year. They beat them twice, and the other 2 went to overtime or shootout. They played them pretty well. They beat them in Philly 5-1. And I know it's the playoffs. It's a different animal. They've risen to the occasion. The Penguins have fallen. And they got to change it. And I've seen enough of these games. I go back to the series where Lemieux kind of took charge. They were down 3-1 to the Capitals, came on and win 3 in a row. There are plenty of examples. When the Penguins won the Stanley Cup in 2009, they were down 2-0 to the Red Wings, and they came back, and nobody thought they'd have a chance. My point is, it still can happen. You just have to play smart and take it one step at a time. We got to go to a break. Andrew will come back to discuss this more right here on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. It's Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back. Bob Pompeani, Andrew Fillipponi with you. Pony, aside from Brazeau and getting back to the original line configurations that I thought served them well throughout the course of the season, what other change would you make? Because I would probably look to insert Jack St. Ivany on defense in place of Sam Girard.
Well, I mean, then he's going to play with Letang. I mean, how would you sort out your pairings then at that point.
I thought Shea and St. Ivany, when they were paired together, especially last year, were a very good combination. I have to do something there because I don't think they're getting enough out of that pairing at all.
Well, they're not. And that gets me back to one of the things, and I said this and we talked about this. If I'm going to critique anything Kyle Dubas did, I did not understand the Kulak for Girard trade. To me, that was overdoing it. I think he got greedy in terms of accumulating draft picks. You got a guy from Edmonton who fit in here. He had been on a top pair in the Stanley Cup final just last year with Edmonton, and he was a rock-solid defenseman. There's a reason why Colorado wanted him. They're going for a Stanley Cup. I did not understand that trade, Bob, because Kulak and Letang had some chemistry with each other.
They did. And he was very good. And just like Skinner, he had the experience of being in this kind of situation, this cauldron of the playoffs before. I think you're right. He was enticed by another second-round pick. When you start playing that game, you're thinking too much of the future, not about the present, at least for the way this team is playing. And
where's Anthony Mantha, Bob? Where's Anthony Mantha? He scored a ton of goals. Yeah. He's going to get his big payday. He ain't going to get it from the Penguins if he keeps putting up goose eggs in the playoffs. I can tell you that much.
I think they got to get back to the lines that they had before. There was chemistry with all of those four lines. They rolled them. They were good with them. But again, the sloppiness on this power play has got to stop. And I don't know, it may be difficult to do the way the Flyers are playing. Pony, thanks as always. Appreciate it, man.
Talk to you tomorrow night, Bob. Goodbye.
All right. That's going to do it for us. For Andrew Fillipponi, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again tomorrow night right here on The Sports Call.